What is the worst rated level in Geometry Dash? 26% of you said it was Invisible Deadlocked, however 74% of you disagreed with this notion. Little did I know that the comment section from this community poll would lead me down a rabbit hole of terrible starred levels that I'm surprised were ever rated. Some have secret ways, some have terrible updates, others are just bad. Well, I hope you're ready for this, cause the first comment emerged immediately. Thinking space. Yeah, the gameplay is awful and I'd rather be in any other space, but the decoration is charming and the sync is great. Buff this. Well, you know, Strafefly's bad and the deco is good. And the sync's good. Can't forget the sync. Every level in the UFO pack. Come on, these aren't that bad. Unlike Prison, at least the spikes which prevent your freedom look nice and appealing. Dorbe choose way 4, that's a lot of dislikes. Really, the choice you make here doesn't matter. You already made the choice of playing this mediocre level after all. After this first dumb saw timing, it's not that bad. Especially if you flip your gravity and get the secret way. I have no idea why this level rewards you so much for flipping your gravity. Dorbe probably had some bad memories of Drought or something. There's a lot of awful early 2.0 levels that you can criticize, but Sword Dance specifically sticks out because of how unbearable its gameplay is. When it's not some weird inconsistent memory, it's a frame-perfect ball timing at 73%. Yeah, that's right, it's slightly harder than Square Adventure. Most other number 1 Extreme Demons never lasted a year. This especially applies if you exclude hacked levels. This level was verified legitimately and quickly swept under the rug. Although even all of this doesn't make it close to being the weirdest level on this list. Overall, its other stats put it well above a 10. A 5 is insanely low. It's gonna be very hard to beat. Initially, the comments weren't going anywhere, so I took matters into my own hands. I remembered 3 levels specifically. Well Then by Zobros is Stereo Madness but backwards. Yeah, it's trash, but the fact that decoration exists carries it above 5 points. Then I looked at the most disliked rated level. There's gotta be a reason this level is disliked, right? Well, sort of. Gios is mainly disliked because the level was rated 1 star but it has gameplay. It's to no fault of the creator, and 1 stars that were easier than 2 stars still used to fall under the easy umbrella. Anyway, the level itself is still trash. There's no real block designs, and when the gameplay isn't boring, it's clunky. Just one of those hot garbage early levels. Finally, I found a lead. Stage X is like Level Mix but far shorter. Its gameplay and decoration are nothing new, so it gets a 0 in originality. Sadly, the sync actually lifts this level to a 5. It wasn't enough. I needed a conclusive answer. The next comments would resurface some mediocre past memories of my GD career. Robot Madness is awful. It's literally Stereo Madness with robot portals. But I really want to call this level worse than Invisible Deadlock. I can't think of anything less original than this apart from straight up copyables. Well, eventually one specific comment would unintentionally put me down a rabbit hole of dozens of awful levels. It was this comment. Flappy Weird itself is a passable level. All of its stats are sort of in the middle and it's okay for the time. However, it made me think about all the levels that came before it and inspired it. The Flappy Bird series. Keep in mind that Invisible Deadlocked was carried by Sync. When I looked up the level that started the trend Flappy Bird, I noticed that in the middle of all the copy pasting and mediocre boring gameplay there was a lack of something. Flappy Bird levels usually do not sync. If terrible levels like Stage X and Invisible Deadlocked were cushioned by Sync, perhaps if I trekked through dozens of Flappy Bird levels I might find an answer to this question. While Darnok's original Flappy Bird stood up to Invisible Deadlock due to the decoration being somewhat up to par, I couldn't say the same about several other Flappy Bird levels. This Flappy Bird level just about scored 5 points with the Nightmare Fuel Flappy Bird pixel art, which I'll assume is original because I couldn't find any art before this. Then this thing scored a 6 due to its slightly more entertaining gameplay and decoration. But you see this, right? Imagine this, but objectively worse in every single way. That's right, we finally found the one. No, this level does not deserve an intro that epic. We're getting to the point where my first online levels look like masterpieces compared to the competition. This one is Flappy UFO with worse decoration and geez, he didn't even put the numbers right. And this is what happens when by mistake a 4-year-old turns on swipe and can't turn it off. Now, there's no way it gets worse than this, right? Come on, it's a 4. That's what I thought until I realized I wasn't the only person in GD history to try to seek the Forsaken worst level. There were a few others. One of my subscribers sent me the link to a server that listed out the worst levels in the game. I curiously entered the garbage collection and trekked across dozens of levels to find the worst thing possible. I narrowed my list down to a few levels that were very good competition to Flappy Bird Dash. Oh great, it's Buckle Your Pants. Just 1 spike jumps, auto blues, and this dumb orb sequence. This was made in 2.0, yet it's literally 1.0 graphics with bad pixel art. The sync is great though, and yeah, this is what made me make the decision to nerf sync from 10 points to 5 points. This is like most 1.0 trash, except it was made around 1.5 and it was named Banana Milk 1. Weird name, but then you see the description. Look, if you make any connections, that's on you. Oh, come on, there's this combination of letters? Oh, it means laughing in Korean language. But this trap is just mean. There's nothing good about this level, but it still scores above a 5. This is EPEP 409 by EPEP 409. It looks bad now, but believe it or not, it used to be far worse. Like, it would have been the worst on this video easily if this is how it stayed. This is the only recorded version of EPEP before the one we have now. Apparently it was originally rated because it was a standard remake of Drought, but that's a far cry from what we have now. Take a look at the decoration yourself, I don't need to comment on it. I'm getting very annoyed with this spiel, but the sync is good enough to... Have you guys ever looked at 9 circles and jokingly said,
"Oh wow, that gave me a seizure"?
Well, here's your warning, cause this level's background visuals get a little intense. This is the first time I've ever been compelled to give a level a negative score on something, but I'll keep it simple. The gameplay is essentially stereo madness plus triple spikes, and the last shit makes you straight fly. Initially I gave it a 3, but after beating the level my eyes hurt a bit. Look, if I survived Ultra Paracosm and Minions, I should be able to survive anything. What's going on here? If this level is a health risk, I'm gonna have to take away a bit from the gameplay score. Yeah, it's the seizures for me. Probably the worst level on this list so far. It doesn't even sync well because Stereo Madness 2 is the song used for some odd reason. Russia Madness is Stereo Madness with kinda 2.0 decoration, but the main gimmick is that all the spikes jump over you, apart from the ones that sorta don't. It scores a 4, but get this, it has an unoriginal sequel. Although, Russia on Track is able to compensate this with slightly better gameplay score due to this wave part and certain parts kinda syncing. Anyway, the worst is right around the corner. While rummaging through the garbage collection, the normal YouTube comments started to strike back. This guy mentioned Crepuscule Challenge, which is like the second coming of Invisible Deadlocked. It basically has the same stats, but I don't blame RobTop for this one. For some odd reason, Crepuscule decided to update this level to a nearly invisible Dynamic on Track. Dynamic on Track also got updated. At first it was just a nerf, but now it's basically just anti-buff this propaganda. This level's score is fine, however the next level caught my eye. It mentioned word of mathematics. Does this level's name mean that you actually have to dash through geometry? Well, we just gotta check this out. It initially starts with basic concepts like 9 times 4 equals 36 and 24 times 250 equals 6000. Everyone knows this stuff. But then it asks this. Are you serious? I cannot solve this within the time allotted. Even worse is that he keeps doing it, and in the last few questions, you don't know if you've gotten something wrong until passing through all these boring structures and finally getting blocked. One thing I will say is that you can actually skip this death, which is weird, and I kinda wish that after this point all other death screens were like this. At least it's kinda fair. Anyway, I don't feel like studying, so that's a 1. The decoration is boring, and the best looking part of this level are the kill screens. I feel like this level syncs sometimes, but it's very minor, and I'll give a 1. As for originality, it's weird. At first I knew there were several math levels that came before 2.1, although in this case, this level actually has a really old ID. This is what it used to look like, and to my knowledge, there is no level with this concept before mathematics, so you know what? Here's one originality point. That's another 4, so how do you get worse than this? Well, after searching through the Godly collection, I think I found a conclusive answer. Now, it is time to review the only currently rated level that scores under a 4. It is known as Troll Face LOL. You hold your ship through 35 copy-pasted troll faces. Yes, I counted. The decoration is a 3. Sure, it's copy-pasted, but this is a pretty detailed and impressive structure for the time. The gameplay is a 0.1 because it's literally just one click and the level doesn't sync at all, meaning everything depends on the originality score. But you see, this level is actually a mystery. The origin of this troll face is like the chicken and the egg of GD. Crazy Bolt came out before this, and if you hold your ship at the beginning, you'll get trolled. Crazy Bolt's ID comes first, so it should be easy to deduce that it came first, right? Wrong. You see, this replay by PG-1004 is the oldest existing replay of this level, and it's the only one where the ship portal that leads to the secret way is not visible. The first sighting of the ship portal, which most likely leads to the troll face, is July 19, 2014. The first sighting of Trollface LOL's troll face is July 9th, 2014. If we're going off that alone, Trollface LOL would be the original, but Funny Game could have updated Crazy Bolt anytime in between these dates, so it's up for grabs. The reason I'm leaning towards Trollface LOL being the origin is Funny Game himself commented on it with lol. This could be like lol you're copying me or lol this is funny I'll include it in my level. I think the latter makes a bit more sense. Either way, I'm only going to give this a 0.5 in originality. I don't think it deserves a full 1 considering that this is copied art. If it was a unique face, sure, I'd give it a 1, but for now, I think whether or not it's original, we found the worst rated level in Geometry Dash. Anyway, if you're a trollface apologist, leave your opinion in the comments on what you think the worst level is. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm out. See ya.